Well, after over 300 hours of playtime, I finally got a good build with a Necromancer that's centered around dying. I've been hanging on to a lot of these items for longer than I want to admit. They've been taking space in my vault, and I made a Necro on this impossible Act 1 run. I'm just finishing up all my marks. So, yeah, anyways, when I saw that I got the Play Dead, or whatever this is called, at the start of my run, I decided, hey, this is my chance to finally use some of these things I've been hanging on to. And this build wound up actually being insane. So I'll just break down the build and then I'll show you some highlights because this was nutty. So I had Glowing Bone. This is from the Ice Age. So become downed, you don't get injured. At the end of the next round, you're revived with 1 HP, 15 shield, and all stats up. So that's pretty good for longer fights. The big thing is you don't get injured when you're down because this gives you seppuku, but I do believe you get injured. I don't know for sure. Then we have Death Shroud. When you're downed, permanently gain +1 to a random stat. So his stats wound up being absolutely insane by the end. I'll show you at the end. But yeah, because I was constantly getting downed, as we'll show why I was able to revive so easily. So yeah, I was getting downed in all the battles, so his stats got really, really good. Then we have Steven. While you're downed, receiving any damage revives you, so that's one way to get revived. Again, I was using all my downed stuff because I thought this is finally my opportunity. Then we have Flesh Kid. This is from Act 1, at least the Throbbing domain, if not the Throbbing King, I think. So you get +4 to speed, you can't get injuries. When you're downed, revive at the end of the round. Your movement action is jump. So the big thing was that you would revive at the end of a round. So yeah, that was obviously really, really good. So now for the actual build itself, I also started with Blood Geyser, which I haven't used a ton to be honest because it makes you take damage. But in this build, it was absolutely crazy as you'll see. So take damage equal to half of your max HP. So because I was getting all stats up all the time, my max HP actually wound up being super high. By the end, I was doing 40 damage per proc with Blood Geyser. Then deal that much damage and inflict Fear 2 on another unit. So then we have Seance. Spawn a Ghost Familiar that fades after its first turn. Castable while you're downed. If you do, spawn a shadow copy of yourself instead. So this gets better when you're downed. You actually spawn a shadow copy of your guy. So basically the gameplay loop was to spend all my mana, cast this so that I could die, and then Seance actually becomes free to cast while you're down, which is something that's very interesting. So then I would cast that, and then my shadow copy could cast all the same abilities. So really, really strong. And then my basic leech was also getting upgraded throughout the fight, or throughout the fights because of this. So leech shot is just normal. So last grasp. When you're downed, deal 6 damage to each enemy and heal 6 HP to all allies. So I would get downed. I could deal 6 damage to all enemies, so anything that was 6 HP or less would just instantly die. So it's like a better pestilence, a way better pestilence. And then I would also be healing my allies, but because I could then respawn at the end of every round, thanks to Flesh Kid, or getting hit by any damage, thanks to Steven, I could heal over and over and deal that 6 damage. So that was really good. And then so that's what I had started the run with. So I started with Blood Geyser and that, so that was great. And then I got super lucky getting Seance. And then we have Dirty Claws. Your physical attacks on poisoned or bleeding enemies inflict +1 poison and or bleed. So then I was just able to inflict poison thanks to Dirty Claws. So that was the build. Let me show you some highlight. So I was actually playing this run on my laptop while watching NHL playoffs, and then I was like, okay, I have to go record this. So the recording and footage of this build didn't actually start until Chubs and Nubs. So let's check it out. We jump toward, we'll call him Chubs, and boom. Leech, Blood Geyser, Blood Geyser, Just like that, we've dealt like 70 damage. We die, 6 damage to each guy. Do a Seance. Again, Leech. He's got Fear on him as well, which is actually really good for this fight because he's going to go to the corner here. Another 64 damage from 2 Blood Geysers. Unfortunately, when we kill ourselves with the bone, it doesn't deal the 6 damage or heal your allies, but that's fine. So then I just kind of skip ahead. We did a little bit of damage with our other guys, our fighter and whatnot. We inflict a little bleed with our psychic, and then we give temporal shards. That was actually kind of a waste because these guys don't really contact your enemies, but there was mana drain, so I was just trying to not lose health on my psychic. And like I said, Fear puts him in the corner, so we're going to jump over to the one in the corner. Actually, no. I guess we're going to the near one. We're going to finish this guy off. We die, deal the 6 damage, heal our allies, spawn a Seance, and just like this, one is dead after just 2 rounds. Now we're going to jump over to the other guy, because he was basically no threat being stuck in the corner. Gonna use our Thief. We go to the outskirts. So I have the Shadow Copy, which is unfortunate because we deal damage to our fighter. I don't like Shadow Copy, it's just the one I was given. I definitely wouldn't select it. I don't really like playing around that. And then we use the fighter to take them out. So yeah, 2 rounds on Chubs and Nubs on Impossible, which takes us to the Boneyard. So here's the first Boneyard fight. We've got these big guys. And yeah, they're basically going to be no threat. I decided to back up a little bit because I know they kind of creep toward you. So just like that, we're going to take the first one out. Dead. Kill ourselves. Takes out the corpse. Use a Seance. And then we're going to take out this other guy. So just like that, he's dead thanks to Blood Geyser. And you can see my my Shadow Copy is taking no damage from Blood Geyser, which is pretty cool, even though he's got full health. So yeah, like I said, this build was just crazy. We're going to go to the outskirts. We use that because it ignores shield. I probably should have used it on this guy instead though, but it is what it is. And he dies to the poison. So 1 round on Impossible. Next we get invaded by aliens firing lasers. So normally would kind of be a crappy event to happen just because, yeah, they can be annoying, especially the ones that charm your enemies. So here I decided to pick up the coin. We're going to take out a spaceship. And then I'm just looking for the highest health guy, which is actually the alien, the bee prober. So again, we want to take him out so my guys don't get charmed. We take out the guy who does a sandstorm, kill ourselves. That takes out a bunch of the other guys, thanks to that 6 damage that we get. When we die, 18 health, goodbye. 24 health, goodbye. And then again, 24 health. So I'm just going to cast it kind of wherever. I can't really take one out. Here I thought maybe, but because I thought the leech would do one, but because it's shield, you don't leech off the shield, only health. So that was a little unfortunate. We use Mom's Knife, take him out. Not taking advantage of our Shadow Copies at all, unfortunately. Just because of the direction I was facing. But yeah, we're just cleaning up a bunch of these. Here I kind of screw up because I could have just used Become Entropy right out the gate and used my Magnet on the big guy who has 2 immunity things, but luckily it pulls back. So we take both immunity things out. Still a misplay, but not the end of the world. And then we're going to use our fighter to take him out, and the explosion takes the other guy out. So boom, just like that. 1 round, and then we have Mama Maggot. So here I debate a little bit at the start. Oh, should I take out some ads and whatever? But I'm doing 36 damage per thing. So I opt for the best strategy to just use my high-powered damage attacks on Mama Maggot, just to get her down quicker. The quicker you can get her down, the less bullshit she's going to be spawning on you. She's got mana drain, which is unfortunate. The kill actually takes out 2 of the maggots, so that's huge. There we can see Steven proccing from the spaceship doing damage to us. Not that it makes a difference because we have Flesh Kids, so we would respawn at the start of our turn anyways. Here we deal a bunch more damage. 72 just with the blood geysers plus our leech. So here I think I screw up, yeah. So because I go on that side, my Mimic actually shoots my Psychic. So that was unfortunate. Again, I didn't select Mimic. It was given to me at the start of the round when you select your callers. So that was just unfortunate RNG. Like I said, I do not like that. You can play around it. I just don't really like playing around it. I sort of got better at using it towards the end of the run, but yeah, it's not my thing. So here, I get a really good proc because I'm able to use my weapons more often thanks to my passive, which was big because then I'm able to take him out, move with 1D chess, and take that last spaceship out. We do get zapped once here, but it's not going to be a big deal. We use the pull, which is nice because it takes out one of the worms or maggots. And then we're just going to tromp our way over here and use our soul claw, take him out. He's got burn on him, so that doesn't afflict bleed on him right now, but when I upgrade it, it will. So again, another 1 round kill. And then I do some debating and I ultimately decide on Rebirth. I was thinking Trip because I thought it might be really nice for Dybbuk, or Dybbuk, however you say that cat's name, the final boss of the Boneyard. But yeah, ultimately I elect for Rebirth. And then here, Seance Plus winds up giving us an extra turn on the Ghost Familiar that we spawn, or your Shadow Copy. So yeah, that winds up being really, really nice because we just get an extra turn with all those, which is actually really helpful on Dybbuk because I wind up spawning some ghosts. So here, again, we have these big guys, and I'm just going to deal with them right out the gate. So this is so nice. You can take like these big threats out, use your leech shot just to remove the immunity, and then kill yourself to deal 6 damage to everything. The spaceships go off. Now my Shadow Copy gets a turn to go. And there is a Zombie Kitten, which takes out the spaceship, which is nice for us, and it does some explosion damage. So Zombie Kittens can actually be a big hassle because they keep eating things and getting more health back. So I elect to take it out right away. So again, we use our leech shot to remove the immunity, and then we're going to use the blood geyser to take it out. So good plays there. I skip ahead a little bit because it was nothing interesting, just kind of taking out the rest of the enemies. And I want to showcase the Necro build more than anything. So at the start of round 2, I revive thanks to Flesh Kid. And we are just going to jump over to this guy and blood geyser him. And that is going to be it. So that one did take 2 rounds, but still pretty good. Then these guys, these worms that like travel through the ground, they can be really annoying. So I want to deal with them first. I don't know if this was the right play, as the werewolves can also be pretty threatening. And then we have just enough damage to take out that spaceship. And then when we die, we take out a bunch of those small ads in the corner. So that was awesome. Here I'm testing, does Blood Geyser just affect the health? No, it doesn't. It gets blocked by the immunity. But this was a perfect time to test that theory because I just didn't know. And it didn't really matter. I was going to kill him anyways. Didn't matter which order I did stuff in. So here, we can't take advantage of our shadow, but yeah, we have sneak up, so we're able to transport all across the map, use that on the big guy. We put a ton of damage into him. We use become entropy to take him out. even though I think Become Entropy kills everything but bosses, regardless of their health. So yeah, in hindsight, I should have used my Thief to take out the lower health werewolf, because you'll see he winds up doing some damage to my fighter, which isn't ideal, obviously. Here, he makes his moves. So I could have done all my damage with Thief on him and potentially taken him out, and then use Become Entropy with the Psychic, and then finished off this guy. And he wouldn't have done damage to my fighter, but regardless, we were able to then just use one Blood Geyser on him and take him out, no problem. So yeah, maybe a little bit of a misplay just because I don't use Psychic that much, so Become Entropy I'm not totally familiar with. I mean, it takes 2 seconds to read what it does and I could have figured it out, but it is what it is. Here we get a very lucky crit to take out the chicken, and then we are going to again test. I thought, maybe, because it kind of comes out the tile, maybe it'll hit him. It does not, but again, just doing it for science. It's a good thing to know, but anyways, I didn't want to kill Dybbuk with my Necro anyways, because I feel like this Necro could absolutely decimate my team. So we have to be really smart about how we approach this fight. So I know that my Blood Geysers don't hit, so I use them on the rest of the enemies. And anyways, we're just going to fast forward. So here, I get him trapped in a corner. Again, you can see my ghosts up from Seance. That was actually key to trapping him. You want lots of familiars if you can in this fight, because it can just help to trap him or get him locked in a corner. And then we use Blood Geyser to take him out. This was a huge mistake because, like I said, we did not want him taking over the body of our guy. And then you can see that we weren't able to actually damage him. You can see he's got the clock on him. So I don't know if he's just a shadow copy. So you can see that goes right through. He's not even dodging it, but my attack just goes right through the boss. So I really don't know how to approach this. Anyways, my Psychic was able to give my guys Blood Thorns, and we wound up getting him down. You can see he has burn. And it was just kind of a messy fight. Again, you can see nothing is really landing on him, so I used Blood Geyser on the Hitman that he procced. And then here we're using our Psychic, and we actually used Become Entropy, which actually kills my cat, and I didn't really notice in the moment. And then I used Tromp to go through him, so that takes away his immunity. Again, the Blood Thorn, because he licked my cat with Blood Thorns, he got bleed and winds up dying. And yeah, anyways, then I realized, oh my god, I messed up big time. My cat is gone after I take out the Hitman. So that ends the fight, and then I go to this screen and I'm like, oh my god, my Necro's gone. I do not want it to be gone. I kind of want to make a video on this. So I save scummed, and luckily, as long as I don't select my upgrade, so here, I didn't select my upgrade yet. I went straight to the top left to check my team. Had I picked an upgrade, I'd have lost my Necro forever. But yeah, so I just save scummed. And this is why save scums exist, thank god. And then we learnt from the last fight, so we take out those guys and don't even try to get Dybbuk. When I die, I would have done 6 damage to Dybbuk, but he's got the immunity, which is really tough on a boss like this because he's hard enough to get damage in on. So yeah, just a nightmare of a fight on impossible, or it has potential to be. So here, I move my Thief over. Basically, we're just gonna have to get this guy cornered some way, somehow. Luckily, he goes over there, and he's spawning flames, so that's gonna give him burn. So that's nice. So here, we position ourselves, and we use Shatter the Sky, which is gonna be really, really nice, because it's going to inflict bleed on this guy. And then I want to give myself blood shards, so that if he hits me, he's going to bleed. And then we just keep doing that to make him move back and forth, and he's going through the glass. So that's nice. And then there you can see he licks me, so he's going to get the blood thorns on him. Here, we actually land an attack with our fighter, just because of how Dybbuk was positioned, and I had upgraded spin for that purpose. Literally for this fight is why I upgraded spin. Normally I don't even really like it, because it can hit your guys so much. So here I make a bit of a misplay. So we're going to go right behind him. He moves. I shouldn't have cast that one because he actually moved back. So that was a mistake because now I can't seance behind him. I had to seance to the side. And yeah, I could have cornered him better because now he wouldn't be there and I could have just kept forcing him back to the corner. So yeah, just a bit of a misplay. Here I learned from my mistake. I roll up behind him to try to keep him moving forward. So that's good. And then we're just going to do Seance instead. No sense using Blood Geyser because it's not going to hit. But again, now I can only spawn one Seance because I can't spawn it to my left, right, or behind me, even though I had the mana to do so. So if I hadn't had him jump backwards, here I finally... Sorry, if I hadn't had him jump backwards, he would have been one tile ahead, or maybe to the side, but regardless, I could have spawned another ghost copy. Here, I use Mimic to perfection. Finally, I'm finally learning how to play around this. So I spawn... Sorry, I teleport over here, and then I move this way. So now both my Mimics are going to be throwing this way. So I cast my attack, we land it, it inflicts poison or bleed. I can't remember which he was doing. I think it was poison. Unfortunately, he doesn't mimic my mana attacks. And then Fear forces him to the corner. And then here, I make another crucial mistake. I should have just rolled right up on him, right in the corner. He'd have been trapped. I don't know really why I didn't. But yeah, the position I took was the worst, because now my fighter can't get into position. For some reason, I was thinking he had jump, because some of my other guys had jump. But anyways, he doesn't. So he can't jump to these tiles. So now he's just stuck. Can't get him over there. Where if I had moved my psychic properly, I could have used spin. Yeah, it would have damaged my other cats. So maybe it was for the best that I didn't. And then here, again, the blood thorns are damaging him. So it took away his crystal. It dealt a little bit of blood damage. Here, my my ghosts are doing work. Get him trapped in the corner, which is huge. So now, all we have to do is play this correctly, which I don't. I don't really know what I'm doing here. I guess just spawning more of those. Again. Oh, that's what I was doing. Again, I didn't want to kill Dybbuk with my Necro. That's why I didn't do that. Because I learned from the last fight that you do not want to fight that Necro at all. So here, we get him in the corner. So this is where, like, teleporting is so nice. So I use Outskirts here to teleport. Then I use my knife attack, because it's my lowest damage attack, to push him into the corner. And now we're going to move forward. And now he's in the corner. And we are going to get some really nice hits in. And thank gosh we hit crits. Because I think the bleed would have been my psychic, and I would not want the psychic casting Vaporize, or whatever it's called, on my guys. So Thief was the ultimate cat that I could have killed Dybbuk with, because this Thief wasn't like super strong. Some Thieves can absolutely wreck everything, but this one wasn't one of those Thieves. So yeah, we move around. Now we have room to go in here, which is huge. We're going to inflict bruise. So we got a bunch of bruise on him. We do a nice attack, and boom, spin attack. And just like that, he's already out. So in the end, I couldn't have played that better. Like I said, I did save scum, but that's what save scumming's for. To save a run like this. I have no regrets, especially on Impossible, man. Like, Impossible can be really tricky. So now it's just a matter of getting him cornered again. So I'm just kind of debating how best to do that. We force him over there. Do a seance. Do a seance. There you go. Now I can die. That's going to take away his immunity shield. Again, that immunity shield is screwing me because I could be doing 6 damage to him every time I die. But at the same time, it's not so bad because I don't want to be killing him with my Necro. Here, that seance was clutch. Now he can't go anywhere. Now we do another seance right in front of him. And this fight is now over. We got him cornered. And a simple psychic pull. Because it does knockback damage. One takes out the shield, or the immunity, and the other takes out his 1 thing of health. And then we get Reality Shatter to inflict bleed every time we put it down. So that's going to be really, really nice for Throbbing King, which I did not mean to go to. Like I said, I was doing marks. I have all my marks on Throbbing King, but I did caves for all those runs. So all I needed to do was kill Dybbuk, and I was in the clear. And then through sheer habit, I went to the Throbbing Domain. Literally just out of habit. Not used to clicking on going home, really, ever. So, yeah. I guess we are doing the Throbbing Domain, and I'm really glad I did. Because it just allowed me to showcase how awesome this build is. So right away, we take out 2 fairly high health targets. And then we're going to take out the other 2. We're now doing 38. So we take out that guy, and then we take the guy with a bunch of elite buffs. And now we just have 1 guy left. Use the knife to take out the shield. Then we've got the double throw to apply poison. And then the double coin purse throw. And just like that, done in 1 round. Look at the movement range on this guy. Like, being able to get stats up permanently for dying with this build was insane. It just got better and better throughout the run. So we take 2 30+ health guys out. Here I screw up. I should throw this at him because that's going to do 10 damage. And then when I die, that's going to do 6 and would take him out. And it would take all the blood clots anyways. For some inexplicable reason, I take that one out. So yeah, now he's alive with 9 health. Total screw up there, but it is what it is. Those things happen. So yeah, I could have saved that blood geyser for these 2 big guys. 54 and 39 health. So we take the one out, and then we're going to inflict leech on the other one. But yeah, anyway, that was a total screw up. We use our teleport to get behind them, and we get some crits, which is nice. We use our knife, apply more bleed, and look at all the status effects he has. 13 from bleed and poison. Just crazy. This build was so much fun. Awesome. He targets my shadow, so does the other guy. So my little screw up winds up being no big deal at all. We use Become Entropy, vaporize that guy, pull him back again, and that's going to be game over. So yeah, that's another nice thing with those shadow copies. Guys that deal big damage will target them sometime. And then we have the Throbbing King. So we're going to start out. Hopefully he doesn't have any bad buffs. No, he does. He's got mana drain, which is horrible. And he's got bouncy or whatever it's called. So my fighter winds up getting totally screwed in this. So yeah, elite buff bouncy. When hit, bounces itself and its attacker apart. Terrible for a fighter. And then Absorbent drains all unused mana from units when they end their turn and deals damage to them equal to the amount of mana drained. So yeah, really unfortunate, but I mean, it's on impossible mode, so you're gonna get some tough elite buffs on a boss. Again, the shadow copy taking that and doesn't even get hit by it is so freaking nice. Like, that is so strong, because that inflicts slow on your guys and can just make things a nightmare. Plus, it uses your attack. You have to use up your attack to get out of it. So here, we're able to do 10 damage plus the bounce damage, so that's 11. And then 2 instances of 40 damage. So again, being able to upgrade so much, I was able to have over 12 mana. If I had 18 mana, I could have cast 3 blood geysers on all my shadow copies, but still 80 damage just like that. super, super, super good. Here I screw up immensely because of the bouncy buff. I should have went right in front of him because I would have just bounced back. So I used the Mimic well, but I screwed up because, again, he's bouncy. Sure, I could have just started the fight over there and kind of learnt from my mistake. Also, what I could have done, so this shadow copy is standing in front of him. I could have moved to the side because all his stuff is ranged. Blood Geyser is ranged. Your regular attack is ranged. And then I could have had my Mimic in front of the guy and the Thief throwing this way, and it would have bounced that way. And yeah, I could have just got so much more damage in. So yeah, just something to learn from for future runs, I guess. Just really pay attention to what elite buffs are on. I didn't really because I just was like, okay, this build's insane. And then here, this was a total screw up. Using temporal shards is dumb because he doesn't really contact enemies that much. Like, yeah, it's nice to have bleed thorns, but I could have just been afflicting so much more bleed. I could have done 6 of the floating glass proc to apply 6 bleed to him, and then do 2 of my magnets to apply more bleed. But for some reason, I went with temporal shards. Probably just from the Dybbuk boss fight. I'm just thinking, oh, I need to have protection for when he hits my guys, even though this guy does not really hit your guys. So there we do 1. Again, I'm trying to use up my mana because of mana drain, but yeah, that was just a really dumb play. And then there, again, he throws his attack at the shadow copy, who just eats it, doesn't get trapped by it or nothing, which is absolutely incredible on this fight. That's pretty much the worst part about this fight, is how he slows all your guys. So yeah, and then the Blood Claw even targets my shadow copy. And then my shadow actually starts first. So we're going to take this guy out. And then again, apply 80 damage. Or no, sorry, only 40 damage. Because we only have 8 mana. But yeah, he was only up because we were able to get Seance Plus, so he was able to survive an extra turn. So it's just like 40 free damage, basically. Here we can only do that attack once. Then we do our main attack, we do Rebirth. Not that it really matters, but now we do have Intellect up, and then we die. We heal the Thief, which is nice. Again, don't discount that healing either. It goes really hard in this fight. We're going to use Sneak Up. Again, I should move 1 because I could have spawned a Mimic. So here, after Sneak Up, if I just moved 1, I would have spawned a Mimic, and then they would have both done the 4x3 nail throw. So I would have applied more poison, and yeah. So I screwed up a lot on this fight, and it still went like really, really well, as you can see. But yeah, it was not perfect by any means. See, there's that Mimic that I could have spawned, but I'm just doing that to get out of his blast radius when he does his big attack. Here, why am I doing shards? I should just be applying bleed. And then again, we get to the edge of the map to protect ourselves. My fighter, I debate on what to do, and then I remember he has mana drain, so I'm like, oh, what the hell, which for some reason he didn't drain my mana the first time. I have no idea why. So I have to waste all my mana, which sucks, just so I don't lose health. And yeah, I get no damage. Like I said, my fighter got screwed on this fight, but it's okay. The bleed takes hold. He's got 11 bleed. So he had 10 and 10. This is why I selected Dirty Claws on my Necro. So now he's got 11 and 11. Damage over time is so good on a boss like this because it does usually go a few rounds. So you're just getting free damage at the end of every round. So we do our normal rotation. I pick up a coin even though I'm at 99 coins. Please fix that, Edmund. Let us get more than 99 coins on a run, especially on Impossible. So we jump. We do our 80 damage. 90 damage. Oh, sorry, 13 because it's a backstab plus the knockback damage. We sneak up behind him, do our rotation, again, look at that poison and bleed compound. It's so good. And again, now I do move out of harm's way, but I could have been using my Mimic there if I hadn't put my Shadow Copy right beside the boss, which I was doing for some stupid reason. And then again, Temporal Shards on a guy that's going to die in one round? Why? I guess I was just trying to use up the stuff, but again, I should have been proccing way more of the glass. So again, he targets my Shadow Copy, which is awesome. Here, I screw up. What I can do is actually go behind him, which you should be doing anyways for backstabs. And because he's bouncy, he would actually bounce into this and then kind of back, and I would only bounce back and hit the wall. So I could have got a full spin in and 16 damage and all my hits with this. I don't know what I'm doing here. Why am I going in front of him? I did have Punch Face on a recent build, so I'm thinking I was just so used to going in front of enemies with fighters to get that guaranteed crit. But yeah, I could have almost finished him right here. We do get a crit, but now I'm out of range. And again, I don't use my spin, and he does the mana drain on me. But look at the, so we do 18 poison, and then 18 poison again here. So absolutely massive damage. It's so good. And then the bleed takes hold and explodes him and takes out pretty much all those guys he had just spawned. So yeah, super good. Unfortunately, we are one thing out of range. So we're just going to take these guys out. We do a rebirth. I should have just done a seance, but it is what it is. Like I said, I made lots of mistakes on this fight, but you can still see just how strong this is. So 38 damage there. He gets out of my range. Kill ourselves, do the heal, take out the random enemies with our 6 damage attack. Spawn a Shadow Copy, get 2 Blood Geysers. Again, I jumped too close there, because now he's going to jump away, and I can't reach him. I don't know why I was jumping so close with my guys, but I was. Sneak up is so good. I can do this because the Mimic only... So yeah, I screw up here. I get scared, but the Mimic only mimics my attack, not my mana attacks. So he wouldn't have attacked my down guy anyway, see? He doesn't do your weapons either. So there, another screw up. But again, things to learn if I get those things in the future. Here, I think I finally start using my Shatter the Sky. Yeah, so now we're just applying bleed over and over and over again. Super good. This is unfortunate. Again, my fighter gets screwed. I could have 1D chest my way to him. But this clot that he spawned was in the way. Luckily, we take it out. I should have used my base attack because I think that thing had bouncy as well, given how I bounced back. But luckily, it died. Again, he targets a Shadow Copy. I'm amazed at how good Shadow Copies are just for aggro purposes. Like, the fact that the boss doesn't aggro you is huge. And then it's only appropriate that we finish it with a Shadow Copy while we're down. We spawn it. Boom, Blood Geyser. So 5 rounds, and I screwed up a lot. But again, this was impossible mode. And yeah, so you can see just how good this build was. But like I said, to replicate it would be almost impossible. I'd been holding on to those items for so long in the hopes that I would get a run like this. So I'm really glad that I hung on to them because it was a super satisfying run. Yeah, just like so easy, which is like, I don't mind challenge, but it's fun when all your theory crafting actually takes hold. And yeah, the run becomes easy because you had the foresight to hang on to so many of these weapons that synergize well together, but you need an enemy whose whole shtick is getting downed, which is usually not ideal. but in this case, it was incredibly powerful. So anyways, I just thought that was a super cool run. Hope you found it interesting, and thanks for watching. Take care.